What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Timmons podcast. I'm your host, Timon. This is my podcast. Real conversations with authentic people. Something like that. Guys, I have a great podcast ahead of us, but let's get to business first. Hello, my name is Timon. I have a Twitter. It's called Timmons Podcast. I also have a YouTube channel, Timmons Podcast. Check it out. Things are popping over there. Also, I recorded this on my video on my iPhone, and it's going to be up on YouTube, though, unfortunately, something with my space in my phone has been messing up recently, and it stopped about, I don't know, you miss about 30 minutes of the actual video. So sorry, folks, to those on YouTube. Sorry. You'll get most of it, but we're working through it. We're figuring it out. So my guest today, awesome guest. Very, very glad I could have him on. Elmer Lehman. You guys are going to have a wonderful time listening to this. Guys, I just keep on bringing cool people to the mic, and I love to hear their stories. Elmer, for sure. I'm so thankful he was able to step out of his kind of comfort zone and come and talk about just his experience. I won't give it away yet. You definitely have to listen to the whole episode. All of it gets wild. Absolutely wild. So I think that's all the business I have. I'll tell you what, if you guys have a wild guest you think should come on the Timmons Podcast, shoot me a DM for sure. Shoot me a direct message, and we'll see what we can do. No promises. Okay, enough of me talking. Let's get back to the episode. Elmer Lehman. And we're going.
All
Dude,
right.
How easy a transition, right?
Right, absolutely.
Elmer, welcome to the podcast, bro.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Have you ever been on a podcast before?
Nope, this is my first time.
Let's go. Most people who come, this is their first time too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I know enough that I'm like, dude, you need to get on the podcast. So we were talking at camp.
Yeah.
So we met at Bible Memory Camp, and we started talking, and you started telling me a little bit of your story. And I was like, okay, yeah. I need to chat with you about some stuff. And so I don't know the full. There was more questions I wanted to ask you there. But I'm like, let's podcast.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
10 times better. So I don't know if you want to kind of start. Just tell people who you are, where you're from. We can go into things from there.
Okay, my name is Elmer Lehman, and I grew up in LaGrange, Indiana for the first 18 years of my life. So I was about 18 and a half when I moved out of my parents' house. And then I moved to my sister's house, sister and her husband's house in Middlebury, and I lived there for about a year or so. And then I lived there for about a year, and then I moved to Elkhart, which I'm currently living right now. So
nice. Yeah. And here we are, dude.
Yep.
18 years in LaGrange. That's basically Shipshewana.
Yeah. So we live right in the middle of Shipshewana and LaGrange. We live so there's a 200 north that goes between Shipshewana and LaGrange. We live right in the middle of that.
Nice. Yeah. Out in the middle of Amish country.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so when we started chatting, I started connecting. Well, Elmer Lehman, that right there screams to me Amish.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Not it's not a bad thing.
Absolutely.
But Furman, I met this guy named Furman Lehman. I'm like, Furman Lehman. Do you know him?
Where did you meet him?
So they're part of my they were part of my birthing class.
Okay.
I think. It could be a totally different Furman.
Lehman.
He lives over in LaGrange County somewhere too. I forget where, but it's
Is he Amish?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did a natural birth, Allison and I, and we did a natural birthing class, and there was 3 English couples and 6 Amish couples.
Okay.
And so on the way, one of the Amish couples lived on the way, so we just would pick him up and take him to there, and I was picking his brain.
Nice.
And so Furman Lehman was his name, and he's a farmer, does organic farming. They used to do a dairy. So
yeah,
anyways.
I think that might be my cousin.
Yeah, there's is he married to Rose?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's them.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah. Small world. He's super nice.
Yeah.
Had a great chat with him. But yeah, when you hear those names, you're like, it's gotta be Amish, dude. That's so funny. It's a small world.
Yeah, it is.
Very sweet couple. So we pick it, and I was picking his brain on Amish stuff. But I wanted to have you come on and just kind of talk about, because I think a lot of people in the Goshen area. I've been here. Let me step back. I've been here for 30 years.
Okay.
In this, basically 30 years in Goshen, and I'm like Amish adjacent. So I know some Amish people. I've actually been to 3 Amish weddings.
Oh, nice.
So I've kind of experienced some of that stuff. I've worked with Amish.
Right.
So there's been that kind of your next around them, but it's never been to the point where I can really talk, or I do talk, but with someone who's just stepped out of the Amish church, I'm guessing what?
I was not in the Amish church.
Okay.
But yeah.
Amish lifestyle,
Yeah.
did I say?
Yep.
Step out of the Amish lifestyle. How long was that?
So it's been about 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 18 and a half when
So you transitioned out of that. I think you're the perfect person to kind of tell me a little bit about the Amish world. So, and the viewers. I think there's a lot of people who have questions or just wondering, what is it? You know, you see it, you're around it, but what's it like to live in it for 18 years? So,
well, it was, I didn't really, so growing up, it was kind of I had a really good life growing up. Like I'm kind of proud of my Amish heritage.
Yeah.
In some ways, but there's other ways too that I'm not. But so I grew up, I worked very hard when I grew up. Like I was my dad always made us work hard, which was pretty good for me because that's like some stuff that I want to pass on to my kids as well. Like working hard is a good value.
Well, it's a lost trait.
Yeah, it is.
Right now.
It is.
You see it in people and you're like, man, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it takes, effort to do stuff.
It really does.
And you start young.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as much effort, but when you have not done that, then it's like, why am I doing this?
Right.
And I read articles all the time, and I see stuff on Twitter. I love Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's just like the people don't put in the effort anymore, and they're having trouble with that, like jobs and things. But yeah, so working hard. And I think that's a big. I see that. That's why the RVs. I interviewed an RV company, and I asked them why are all RVs based in Elkhart County, and they said the Amish. That was one of the things that we talked about. It's that hard work.
Yeah.
That's like ingrained in that community. You can't get that very many other places.
Right. Yeah, I think that's also that's probably over 90% of the Amish. Like Amish kids, they grow up working on a farm or whatever. I grew up working on a produce farm, which we raised like watermelons, we raised pumpkins, and just a lot of different produce. We have probably like maybe 12 or so acres of everything.
Wow.
So yeah, I grew up on a 45-acre farm. It was about 10 acres of woods. Now it was actually probably more over 20 acres of produce and stuff.
Wow.
And then later on, when I was maybe like 14 or 15, we started raising popcorn. So we raised like 3 acres of popcorn.
The ladyfinger or whatever?
So it's the small popcorn that they put in bird seed or whatever.
Oh, really?
So yeah, we had to husk it all by hand.
No way.
Yeah.
You didn't have one of those old machines?
Nope.
No.
We had to husk every single cob by hand.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's hard work.
Yeah, it is. It was really, I mean, it wasn't really hard work, but it was like really
tedious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine that would not be enjoyable.
So, yeah, and then when I was maybe 13 or 14, something like that, my dad, he put up a duck barn, or so yeah, they've been raising ducks for Culver Duck for about, I'm guessing like almost 8 years now, something like that. So yeah.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah.
Stuff out there. I mean, you see them all over the place, chicken and duck barns in this area.
Yeah, that's also a really common thing in the Amish is the chicken and duck barns.
Yeah. Well, and it's the living off the land in a way, in the farming aspect. Yeah, I remember talking to one Amish guy and he said minimum that they have to have, like bare minimum 3 acres just to have a horse and buggy.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know.
That's what he was telling. I mean, I don't see very many. Most Amish are at 6 and then more,
There's people that have like 0.5 acres or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
But do they live next to their parents?
No. So it's in Shipshewana.
Oh, okay.
Shipshewana is like really crowded with Amish.
Yeah.
And there's like Amish that have really small lots there. And Some of them don't even drive horse and buggy anymore.
Yeah. I wonder if they just all e-bike and everywhere, or
Yeah, that's also something that like a lot of the Amish, like, so my family and the church that I grew up in, they were not really fond of those Amish in
really,
Shikespeare.
yeah,
just because of the stuff that they did,
they're a little bit more lax.
Yeah,
right. Well, they could have electricity in places. And they could do
they have electricity in their houses, which is like, and that is again, it is like all over, like wherever the Amish are, it is very different. Like every community is different.
Yeah,
it has its own different rules. It has different guidelines, and just everything is different.
Yeah, it's based on the bishop of that area.
Yeah,
right.
It's the bishop, and so they also do like a church vote or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say, when I grew up, we did not have any power lawnmowers. We had to mow the lawn by real lawnmowers.
Oh, the little like bladed ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then I don't know how old I was, probably like 9 or 10 or something like that. The church voted on it, and the majority of the votes got for power lawnmowers. So that is when we got power lawnmowers. So yeah,
that was a game changer too.
Yeah, right.
Especially if you guys have 45 acres. I mean, not all of it is grass, but there's probably a lot that was grass.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It is definitely from when I was a little kid to where I was like 15 or 16. Like it has really changed in my community or whatever. Like because we couldn't have any skid loaders.
Wow.
And then when I was probably right around that age, because we changed bishop, and the other one moved to Wisconsin, which is a really, really conservative Amish community.
Okay.
So yeah.
So then a little bit more liberal bishop kind of changed things up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of, and yeah, it was just a lot of different stuff that I don't know. It's I don't really know how to explain everything. Like I'm still.
You're probably still unraveling a lot of it.
Yeah, I am. I'm still learning a lot of it. Like a lot of how all these rules and guidelines came into place. There's a YouTube channel, or there's like a 6-part YouTube video on YouTube that is called Breaking the Silence.
Okay.
It's by a former Amish. He left the Amish, or their parents left the Amish when he was 14. His dad was an old order Amish minister.
Okay.
And he goes through like step by step, like how the Amish came into place. So yeah,
that's a really good way.
That is a really good.
Was that helpful for you when you watched it? It just started. Like,
I learned a lot of new stuff about the Amish that I did not know.
Really? Yeah, even growing up in it.
Yeah, right. Because you didn't really learn any of that stuff.
Yeah, because they're not talking about it. They're not teaching.
They don't talk about that. I mean, because they probably don't even know. My parents don't probably even know that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And how would they get sharing if there's no technology?
Right.
Were you guys allowed to have bikes?
Yeah, we did have bikes. Yeah.
So I talked to one person from Bible Memory who is no longer Amish, but his parents were, and he remember when he was a kid that they're out in Kansas.
Okay.
And they switched the rules so that they could have bikes. And he's like, it was a totally like game changer for us. Yeah. It was awesome. It's like, man, I can't. It's just wild to think about how that. Yeah, you're saying some of the stuff you liked about was the hardworkingness.
Yeah, and also the community aspect of it. Mm-hmm. It has really our church, like my home church. When I say church, is like a community of churches. Well, okay, so I grew up. I went to usually every church has their own school or whatever.
Okay,
but I went to a different church's school when I grew up.
Okay,
so I was kind of in a couple different communities or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And
why did you guys go to a different school?
Honestly, I'm not sure, because I think we lived in the east side of the community, or east side of our church, and the school was in the west side. So I think that's where we went there, but some of our neighbors that live right close by, they went to the other church or the other school.
Yeah.
And the other school was and the school that I went to was like maybe half a mile away.
Yeah, and there's the school that was closer then.
Yeah. I think that's why it was. But yeah, and that was, our community was really close, like tight knitted or whatever. Like whenever somebody needed help or something, there were like a bunch of neighbors would get together one day, call what they call a frolic, and just help each other out. And that was also a really cool aspect of it.
Yeah, I know when the tornado tore through Napanee. Oh yeah, a couple of years back. I don't know if you remember that, but it was a huge. I mean, I was young, so the church, the houses that were English were torn down for a year, year and a half. The houses that were Amish, I mean, back up within like a month. All of them, you would see just, you know, it was just really fascinating to see as that community gather around each other and then help, you know, and literally build the house back up.
Yeah.
And it was just wild.
Yeah, they can build stuff really fast if they work together.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah, it is. And I've also helped move a house down the road. So we picked the house up out of the foundation and move it like, I think the furthest we moved it was like a mile and a half.
Whoa.
There was like maybe 50 Amish guys and sometimes little boys or whatever.
Yeah.
Just pick up the house and just move it out. So the house was in a field and nobody didn't really use it anymore.
Wow.
So one of our old neighbors used to live there. They weren't Amish. And then our Amish neighbors bought the house or like bought the property or whatever, and they just like made a field around the house.
Yeah.
And so it's one of my other neighbors, they bought the house and they moved it like a mile and a half down the road to their house.
Oh my word.
So
like put beams and stuff, right? And everyone's holding the beam and they're just literally.
Yeah.
That's wild. I've seen stuff on like social media where they do that.
All right, yeah.
But it's cool to hear that it's happening. I mean, who knows what? It could be AI. It could be something totally fake on social media.
I know.
That's cool.
But I think they had those like in other communities as well.
Yeah.
Like just barns or whatever.
That they just move.
Yeah.
It's the community aspect is so fascinating because they've really got that locked in.
Yeah.
You know, I think I've got a good community. It's nothing compared to Amish, but I do have people around me, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's so cool. And that's part church. That's part family. It's a blend of both.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people outside of Amish and outside of the church are looking for a community.
Right.
And as a human, I think we miss that a little bit.
Yeah.
That's key to being.
It is. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. Can be good and can be bad, I'm sure.
Yeah. It can be, because then when somebody maybe does something or starts spreading rumors about the other people, then it's like, then it doesn't turn out good. I don't think I've ever had an experience in my community or whatever, but there were like communities that got broken up because of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Just by someone kind of pushing and starting something.
Yeah, and a lot of rumors. I'm not saying this is bad about the Amish, but they do like to start a lot of rumors.
Yeah. They start gossip.
Yeah.
They start talking.
That is something that the Amish are known for.
It really is just.
It is actually like that's something I've noticed. Like even people who aren't Amish anymore, like I can still kind of I can still notice that in them a little bit, which is like that's just how they grew up.
Yeah, so they just start chatting.
Yeah,
that guy, the way that he does that.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird how he does that, isn't it? You know,
right?
Yeah. He knows that. Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
it's easy. It's easy to.
It really is. Yeah,
to gossip. You know,
and I've found myself often doing that, like without thinking or whatever, just talking about something. I'm like, oh, better not.
Yeah. Well, especially if it's your culture growing up,
right? Yeah.
And just everyone does it.
Yeah. And I didn't really think of anything bad about it or whatever.
Right.
Like when I was growing up or whatever.
It's kind of how you did it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I know, let's go back to churches. I know when it was explained to me that churches are based on location. So how close you are really determines where your church is because you're horse and buggy bound. You can't go 16 miles over to blah, 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 right? It needs to be in a location. And then as a group gets bigger, then the church will split.
Yes.
And they do church every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, because sometimes the bishop needs to run this church here and the church over there because he got so big. And so.
And then once that, he doesn't run 2 churches at a time like always because they have 3, no wait. They have 2 or 3 ministers. I'm not quite sure how many ministers there are, but there are 2 or 3 ministers. Then they have a deacon and then the bishop.
Okay.
So each church got to have that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then sometimes like a minister might move from another church to another church, and then they'll just have like 3 or 4, whatever.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So that's basically how like Amish churches are. Like they got to have a deacon and a bishop and then ministers.
Okay. And are they the ones majority, other than the majority vote, but they're the ones that are kind of making the decisions?
Yeah.
Right.
So if somebody did something bad in the church, like let's say they were using a phone or whatever, the ministers and the bishop would go talk to them.
Really?
Yeah.
So then they're like they come down your lane. You're like, oh, crap,
Yeah.
what did I do?
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yep.
So is there a lot of snitching that happens? Like the tattletaling?
I don't know.
Maybe that's the rumor piece of it, kind of? Or?
Yeah, it's some of it, but I don't really know because I never joined the church, so I don't really understand like what goes inside, like what goes on inside the church or whatever.
Yeah.
So sometimes after church on Sunday, they'll say something about the people that are in the church that got baptized into the church. They have to stay longer than the rest and the kids,
Gotcha.
and all the other people can leave. Then they talk about stuff.
Gotcha. So
And sometimes it's they vote for somebody to shun or whatever. Or
really?
yeah.
Yeah. What gets to that point? Like, you probably don't know.
You mean
Like to shun someone?
Um.
Is it like they've done something bad?
Yeah,
or
they've done something bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like a really bad thing, and sometimes it's not a bad thing. Like sometimes it's just plain, because when my cousins when they got shunned from the church because they started, I think they started using phones or whatever. They started using internet in their home, and like they just I think when they got born again, like truly born again, like they got shunned. So.
Wow. So that was like, hey, it can't be part of our community anymore. And shunning's pretty rough.
Yeah, it is. So Paul talks about it in Corinthians, I think. He talks about like shunning. So what the Amish do for shunning is like they just give them over to the devil. That is what Paul tells. That they take that and they just like whenever somebody does something bad, they give them over to the devil.
They really run with it.
Yeah, they do.
They're just like, yeah, he's gone. He used phones.
Yeah, and then the sad thing about it too, like they can't whenever somebody is shunned, like they're not supposed to like their family's not supposed to eat with them at the table.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like literally exclude them.
Yeah, they gotta exclude them like literally.
Does the person, like, let's say you got shunned.
Yeah.
You didn't, but let's say you're 18, you get shunned, you're living at their house. Are you still allowed to live there? Or are they kind of
I don't think so. Probably
kind of give you the like, hey, or they can't even talk to you. Really?
I don't even know. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure because I don't think I've ever had someone close to me that got shunned, or not that I've found out of. So
Yeah.
I think, and it varies in different communities again.
Yeah.
There are like communities in Ohio and like actually in Middlebury, Indiana, what they call the barons, the bonds.
Okay. What's that
And
mean?
Barons. So bonds is Dutch for barons.
Okay.
So yeah.
Like the rich.
No.
Or barons as in
barons.
like
There's
empty land or
yeah. I mean, there's a place in Middlebury. It's called Barons or whatever.
okay.
So they have a couple schools that call it the North Barons, South Barons.
Okay.
So those are really they're kind of like really conservative or whatever. And I think those people, if they would get shunned, like they would do a lot more like really hard shunning. So
Like for life.
yeah.
Because I've heard of some shunning, it's like a year or
Yeah, I don't
3 years or something.
I honestly don't really know much about that because I've never
experienced
it or have someone experience like had someone close to me that got.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, it does not.
Yeah. Now, because you didn't join, if you would have joined the church and then left,
Yeah,
you would have been shunned.
yeah, I would have been shunned then. And I think for some reason, if they find another church, like because I'm going to another church right now, then they would unshun me. I don't know why, but that's kind of how it is.
Oh, because you're not with the devil anymore. You're now at a church.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, nah, yeah.
But it's still confusing to me because I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I've never really had someone explain that to me. I don't think they can explain it either. A lot of them they can't explain it.
It's just the rules that are set in place that they have to.
It's because that's what our grandfathers did, that's what our forefathers did, so that's what we're going to do. We're not going to ask questions about it. We're just going to do it.
Wow. Is that a pretty big thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't ask questions, just do it.
Yep, that's what Grandpa did, so that's what we're going to do.
Wow.
Yep, I've heard my dad say that a couple times already.
Really? Yeah. That's hard when you have questions.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Like, and yeah, they don't really. it's really sad, but they don't study the Bible that much, really. They read it a lot, but they don't study it.
Is it the same? Is it in German or Dutch?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to. So when I grew up, we had like but it's all KJV. If it's in
really?
English, then
Okay.
it's KJV.
Okay.
So when I grew up, we had like we had the KJV, and it was like, and then the next page was German. So it was
You see
everything.
both.
Yeah, it was both. But I think my dad's Bible is just German.
Gotcha.
And that's all they read out of in like church or whatever.
Right.
It's German.
Yeah, the one that I was at the services for the marriage,
Okay.
it was all in Dutch.
Yeah.
Or German.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't understand any of it.
Yeah,
I
right.
sat there, not next
And
to my mom,
there's still a lot of
next to my
like,
dad.
there's a lot of Amish people, they don't understand German.
Really? Yeah.
So they don't understand the Bible.
So they're just sitting there listening.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my grandfather did. Yeah, That's what my forefathers did. Just gotta
Yeah,
sit
it's because so they used to like teach a lot of German. Like I got taught a lot of German when I went to school, but they don't really do that anymore. And there's like young ministers when they like, I don't know, so when they get ordained, do you know how that works?
It's like a book and
Yeah, they have like
rubber bands. I was asking Furman about it. He's giving me a little bit.
Yeah. So everybody goes through, everybody who's by the church who's got baptized, they go through and I think they write down who they think should.
Kind of like vote on who
Yeah.
they think is.
And then the one who has the most votes, all the ones that have the most votes, I don't know what they go by.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 14 on the bench that are like could be ordained, and sometimes it's just 7.
Okay.
So then they go through and they hand them a book, and the one that has the book that has a slip in it, and every book has a rubber band around it.
Yeah.
And then one book has a slip in it. I don't know what it says anymore,
Yeah.
and then that person is chosen.
It's supposed to be randomized.
Yeah, it is
no one
completely
can
randomized. It is.
kind of pick it.
Yeah.
And then that person is the bishop or minister for life.
Yeah, minister.
Yeah.
And then so if they want to make bishop, if they want to ordain a bishop, they have to do it with the ministers. Like a regular church person, or like a regular Amish person that is not minister or deacon, they cannot be bishop.
Gotcha. It
They
has to
have-
be a minister.
yeah, it has
It's
to be
like
a minister.
it's levels.
Yeah.
It's a pyramid. It's Illuminati.
Right.
Yeah. Do they have like a head bishop, or is it just the bishops?
It's the bishop, yeah.
Yeah.
They just have one bishop.
Okay. Is the one bishop over multiple churches then, typically, or
No, it's just one bishop or one church.
Okay.
Sometimes another bishop goes and helps another church if they're having trouble with their leadership or something, but
Yeah.
usually it's just one bishop per church.
Gotcha. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that Amish are really good at is multiplying.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
So
Big
many
families.
Amish. Yeah, big families and young. You know.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's a beautiful thing to see. We have Amish friends that are my parents' age, and so my parents are grandparents, and these Amish friends are great grandparents.
Oh, really?
And their great grandkids are starting to get married. It's like what is it's just
Yeah.
exploded, and it's very cool to see that.
Yeah, I have 9 siblings.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was an Amish family that
9 siblings. That's crazy.
I have 5 sisters and 4 brothers, so it's 5 and 5.
Wow. That's
I'm
awesome.
the third youngest. I have 2 younger sisters.
Okay.
So, and all my older siblings are married already.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
But there was an Amish family that lived not really close to me, but kind of close to me when I grew up, and they had like 16 or 17 kids.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
That's so many kids.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's cool. That'd be tough.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. So as a parent, how do you give your attention to 16 different?
I don't know.
It's
it's pretty crazy.
that's wild.
And I think that's also like Amish. So when I grew up, like I didn't get much attention from my parents or whatever. Like it's just I'm not telling this, so like I'm a victim or whatever. That's
Right.
just how I grew up.
Yeah.
And I think that's how my parents grew up too. So I think a lot
Part
of
of the culture.
Yeah, that's just kind of how they grew up and their parents grew up. Because I know like my dad was really, he went really by the rod or whatever they call it in the Bible.
Yeah.
And
You like to spank.
yeah.
Yeah.
and I think that's how he grew up as well. So
Yeah.
he didn't really know any better.
Yeah. And it probably kept him straight,
Yeah,
and so he's trying to make sure his kids are good.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't really work on me. I was a really rebellious little kid.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would get in a lot of trouble, and I got pretty good at lying. My parents would always tell me, I can always tell when you're lying, but after a while, like they wouldn't find out because I could keep a straight face and lie.
No way.
It was crazy how I could lie, like just about anything really, because I did not want to get in trouble.
Yeah. So you just
I would do anything, blame others, lie, just so I wouldn't get punished.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have like an example? You think of a time of like what would be a rebellious little,
Smoking cigarettes.
No way.
Oh yeah.
How'd you get sick? All right. How old were you?
I was probably so I think my first cigarette was when I was like 10 or 12, and that was from my older brothers.
Yeah. They were.
Yeah.
They were out doing their thing.
Yeah, they were out partying and stuff,
Yeah.
and they would always like bring like cigarettes and beer home or whatever, and I would just sneak them. And one time I lent $20 to my brother, and he gave me a cigarette.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of stuff like that. Like it was just, and also another time I brought chewing tobacco to church, and I gave it to some of my friends there.
No way.
And I would always hang around with the older kids there because they thought I was cool because my brothers were out partying and doing all that stuff, so I was cool.
Yeah.
So I would hang around and do that stuff, and yeah, it's just
You're a little. Oh, that's hilarious.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my childhood was pretty different than most kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you had older brothers who were partying.
Yeah.
Then it's like, you're kind of exposed a little bit because you're seeing it.
Right. And that was really something sadly, that was something I admired in them when I was growing up.
Yeah. Man, I wish I could do that. Or I wish I could be like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you explain a little bit, I think most people know what Rumspringa is, but kind of explain that if that's cool.
So when you turn 16, you have, I think some parents, they kind of condone partying, so they don't go and leave the Amish.
Okay.
Some parents do. Now, I know a lot of parents don't, but I know some parents do.
Okay.
It's sad, but some parents, they do. They want their kids to go and party. That way when they're done, they come back to the Amish.
Okay.
They don't go and experience, like they don't go to church or like other churches or whatever. They just come back to the Amish church. And there's some other kids, like they don't do any of that stuff, but they do, like they don't party or whatever. They do a lot of other dumb stuff too. Like they go TPing or they put Vaseline on windows and doorknobs and all that stuff. And they chalk houses and like really a lot of dumb stuff. Like they don't party or anything. They don't have phones or anything.
They just go a little wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're like, it's not harm. It's not like maybe it's inconvenient, but it's not really.
Yeah. I mean, I think
pranks.
Yeah. But sometimes it's kind of harmful. Like so when they go cruising, so my two sisters that are younger than me, they don't go partying or anything.
Yeah.
So they just, what they call, every Saturday night, they just, sit, they sit up or whatever.
Okay.
Which is kind of translated from the Dutch. So what they do is they have like a group of girls. They go to one of their girls' houses, and they just like sit in the garage or whatever. Like they have cards and games or whatever, and then boys would come and visit them, and it's kind of a little, I don't know.
It's like a sleepover.
Not really, because the boys can't sleep there.
Oh, but the girls are all just hanging out.
Yeah, the girls are hanging out there, and then boys, just random groups of boys come at random times or whatever, whenever they want to, and they just stay up until like 1 o'clock, and they go to bed, and the boys can't stay there anymore, so they got to leave. And then
it's a sit up.
Yeah, so they go cruising around with buggies and whatnot.
Okay.
And then sometimes they unhitch the horse and they take the horse a mile that way and the buggy the other way, and they can't find the horse or whatever. So yeah, they do a lot of that stuff too.
Why would you do that? Just because
it's funny.
Yeah. A goodbye horse.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure the horse knows how to get home, but
yeah, I don't know. Or then the owner knows how to find it. There's been some times where like they hadn't found it until Sunday morning.
No way.
Yeah.
So they're looking for the horse for a while. That's wild. Yeah, just weird. That's crazy stuff. So Rumspringa is 16. You go and kind of do wild stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, and you said some parents go party, like get out there and go wild.
Get it out of your system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's really. It's like inviting garbage into your life.
Yeah, it is.
Just
It really is.
front load your life with a bunch of garbage.
Yep.
And then go back to the church. And when you can go back to that's when they make their decision to go back to the church.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of them, they don't have they don't have really a Jesus moment when they decide to go back. They just they go back because their parents want them to. That is the only reason. A lot of them go back.
Really? Yeah.
They do not want to. A lot of them, they don't want to, but they go back because their parents and their family wants them to. I think that's sad.
Yeah. Doing it just because your parents want.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Christians too.
Yeah, it
like
is. It really
I'm
is.
just gonna be a Christian because that's what they're not into it.
Yeah. They don't really understand.
Yeah.
A lot of them, they don't understand anything about it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my generation, like they don't understand a lot of how like the Amish work and how the church works and all that stuff.
They just are part of the system.
They just go along with it. They plug into the system. They just go along with it. And they just
Yeah. How long can they be on Rumspringa for? A while.
As long as they want to. I mean, normally it's around. So sometimes they join the church at 18, and sometimes they join the church at 21. The latest is probably like 30 or so.
Okay.
So they're like partying and whatnot until they're
For a
30.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, who's buying them beer? Like, if you're 16, who's getting you beer?
Older kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to be at least a 21-year-old.
And there's a new trend going around with the Amish youth too that they got a lot of fake IDs too.
Really?
Yeah. I had a fake ID when I was partying.
No way.
Yeah.
How'd you? Just someone got it for you. Someone.
Yeah, I got it off Snapchat.
No way.
Yeah.
Snapchat's huge in the.
It is. It really is. There's a lot of people on Snapchat. They sell you that stuff. And there's a lot of scammers too, but
Oh yeah.
a lot of the Amish youth, they all got it from the same guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They got the one dude.
Yep.
They
And then they
it.
just pass it around, like they just pass maybe his username or something around to
Yeah.
other Amish youth, and they can get it from them. And
That's crazy.
so yeah,
Yeah. Snapchat's so great. It's so bad. It's evil.
it is.
It's nasty, but it's so funny that's the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you partied for a couple. You left during Rumspringa? Is that when you left, or what? What?
Oh yeah, it was. I transitioned from Rumspringa to where I am now.
Gotcha.
So I started partying when I was 16, and I didn't start driving until I was 18
Gotcha.
and a half, because I had to sign my own license and whatnot.
Mm.
So when I turned 18, I got my permits, and then, which I was driving with my permits. I didn't have any license while I was driving.
Yeah. You're
So
still
yeah.
driving. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's how a lot of Amish kids do. As soon as they get their permits, they're driving.
Yeah.
They don't worry about license right away. So yeah.
And if they get in trouble, they just go to the church and they
Yeah.
don't have to worry about anything. You know, like
Well, I don't know.
Maybe.
Sometimes.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's still kids that go to jail for it.
Really. Yeah.
I mean, not for. So I got pulled over once with just my permits, and I got my vehicle towed.
Really.
So yeah.
What'd you do then? You
The
can't really
next-
call your mom and
No, the cops gave me a free ride home.
No way.
So then,
Did you tell them you were Amish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of knew because yeah.
Yeah.
And then-
Chippewana.
This was actually in LaGrange.
Okay. This looking.
So yeah, then the next morning I called one of my friends and we went to the towing place, and we got it out for like $300 or whatever.
It's a pain.
So yeah. So I just made sure not to get pulled over before I got my license.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. That's wild. I mean, just logistically, this is a totally different question, but
Yeah.
I mean, you call your friend. He probably has a cell phone. You had a cell phone.
Yeah.
Right. How are you charging these phones? Out in the shop or?
Batteries. Like, so you can get these attachments that you put on top of Milwaukee or Makita or DeWalt batteries,
Oh, okay.
and then they have like USB
okay.
ports in the back, so they can just charge
Charge
your phone.
that way.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you charge your battery out in the
Yeah.
shop or whatever.
Or,
Maybe.
in your room or whatever.
Really? Yeah.
So yeah.
That's crazy. I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to like, how would you?
Yeah.
Because I know when you're Rumspringa, you have freedom to do kind of whatever. So phones can come into the house.
Yeah.
And things like that can.
Yeah.
And
My parents never really approved of my phone. I mean, I could never have my phone out when I was with them or like around them or whatever.
You had to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
But there's a lot of parents that don't care.
Yeah. Like, yeah. We were crazy when we were your age. You go and do what you want to do. Yeah. So you admired your brothers when you were younger.
Yeah, I did. I really did. I really looked up to them.
Yeah. Just like, man, I wish I could be like you. I wish I could be doing what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
And so then when you got there, did you kind of follow their same path?
Yeah, kind of. But so none of my brothers were driving. They never drove because in our church, you could not have a vehicle. Like my parents would get shunned. So actually, when I moved out in August, about 2 years ago. I moved out. Wait. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. I moved out in August. I moved to my sister's place, which their church is a lot more liberal.
Okay.
They don't worry like their kids can stay home with their cars and everything. But my church, where I grew up in, they could not, like the kids could not stay home with their cars.
Wow.
So I had to park my car down the road for about 2 months or so, it was about a quarter mile down the road, so I had to run down every morning.
To get it. Then you run up, then you bring up to the house, get your stuff, and then leave, right? No, you take all of it?
Yeah.
You couldn't even bring your car to the house?
I did for like a couple times. So
you had to keep it like low key.
Yeah.
They couldn't know it was your car or...
So I parked my car at home one night, and my dad was not happy about it.
Really?
Because I got home late from a football game, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's another thing, too. The Amish, they also have a football league.
Really?
Yeah. It's at Rock Run Youth Park in Goshen, Millersburg area.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Millersburg area. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's on County Road 38.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They, that's fast. So it's like tackle football?
Yeah. They have pads. They have uniforms.
No way.
Yeah, everything.
I thought it was just baseball.
No, they have baseball. They have volleyball. They have basketball there. Well, they don't have baseball. They have softball. They don't play baseball.
Just softball. Okay.
Yeah.
And then basketball. That makes sense.
They have volleyball.
Football. I didn't realize football.
I played football for 3 years.
No way.
Yeah.
What position did you play?
I played O-line for 2 years, and then the last year I played D-line and O-line.
Okay.
So yeah, I was in for like most of the game.
No way. Who's your coach? Like older boys, or was it like?
Yeah. A lot of them. So a lot of the times it was like older Amish kids that were too old to play. So you could play until you were 22.
Okay.
Then you couldn't play anymore, or until you joined church. Because once you join church, you can't play anymore.
No, so it was only like
for some
Rumspringer kids that play.
For some reason, you can't compete in sports when you're
in the church.
Yeah, I don't know why, but or then you can't wear shirts with lettering on it.
Oh,
I'm not sure, but yeah, there was some reason.
Have jersey numbers. And it has to be
So there was like kids that were by the church that played softball.
Mm-hmm.
And they just had like plain T-shirts.
Yeah.
They didn't have any numbers or anything on them.
So they're fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
But they can't play football when they're by the church. But yeah, it was mostly like older Amish kids. Or then it was like, there were some high school football coaches that came to coach the Amish too. So
really?
So yeah.
Yeah. They're just connected. Well, and yeah, I have so many questions, dude. This is crazy. They're blowing my mind that Amish have football.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to high school then, because the Amish don't go to high school.
No.
8th grade, done, right?
8th grade.
And then you start working.
Yeah.
Typically.
Most of the time, yeah.
Did you go to any public school, or was it all Amish the whole time?
It was an Amish, yeah. I went to an Amish private school.
The whole time, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. 8th grade, how old are you in 8th grade?
I was
12?
15.
15?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, right before Rumspringer.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was 15 when I graduated. And then, so my birthday is in March, and I graduated in May, the 1st of May. That's like when the programs are, where they have like so they have winter programs where they just like, they do like a couple hours with singing and saying like poems and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They have plays sometimes they have like nativity scenes of like Jesus and
yeah.
And then and that's in the winter. That's around Christmas, like right around Christmas. And then in the spring, when school is over, they do like the spring program. That's what they called. And yeah, they just have like, a couple hours of like singing and poems and all that stuff. So
yeah, you guys are presenting it to your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then like people can come and listen to it, And then the last day of school is like the spring program is when the 7th and 8th grade school kids, they play the men. Like they play their parents, like their dads in softball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, no way.
Yeah.
Did you guys get smoked?
I don't think we got smoked that year. I think we beat the dads, but there was a couple times where the kids got smoked a lot.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So, school ends in March, you said, basically?
Yeah.
Or May?
No, it ends in last of April, 1st of May,
Okay.
usually.
Then you guys can help with harvest and things
Yeah.
like that, right? Because it's very, like you said, you live farm, very farm
Yeah.
culture. So then did you go and work in a factory? Or did you
I did
work-
not start working in the factory till I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so my first job was, I worked for my dad, kind of like I helped my dad on the farm when I turned, like right when I got out of school.
Okay.
I just started helping my dad full time, and when I think I was 15, it was actually that fall that I graduated. That fall, I started working for one of my cousin's neighbors because he also worked there.
Okay.
We did like gutters and siding.
Oh, okay.
I worked there like part time, and then I quit there and I worked for my dad until I was 16 or 17, something like that. Then I went to work for one of my neighbors, and we did like roofing, like shingles. We tore off shingles. There's actually there's a retirement home in Goshen.
Yeah.
I can't remember what
Is it the crossing?
Waterford Crossing.
Yeah.
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 We tore off the shingles there, and then we.
Gosh. It's a
Yeah.
big facility.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually helped another crew do it. So yeah, there was
Okay.
like 2 crews working on it at a time.
Oh, my goodness. Did you just tear off shingles or did you also put them back on?
Yeah, we tore off the shingles and put new ones on. So yeah.
I did that for a summer, and it's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Especially
it really
when
is.
it's like baking down,
Oh yeah,
sun, and
like the shingles when it's like really hot, the
Oh,
shingles
they
get soft.
yeah, floppy, dude. It's crazy. And you probably would. I mean, I did this too. I put the shingles on my shoulder and walk them up. You know,
Sometimes
every once in a while they crane them up. Every
Yeah,
once in a
right,
while,
right.
Yeah, you're like, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, during the winter, like it was pretty crazy sometimes. Like, and we also we built a new police station in Wakarusa.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Wakarusa. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've been all. I mean, there's construction jobs everywhere.
Yeah,
so,
there is. It really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I quit there, and I think it was in like July. I can't remember what year because I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
But then I started working at a finishing shop, and I worked there for a little over a year, and then I went to the factory, Crossroads in Topeka.
Okay.
I worked there until April of last year,
Wow.
and then I started working where I am now.
Nice. Do you do like welding or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I weld aluminum
Wow.
for RV factories.
Yeah. I mean, a welding job is.
Yeah.
That's a good. I mean, there's opportunity everywhere.
Yeah, it really
Welding,
is, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we're slowing down quite a bit right now.
That's what. Yeah. That's why you could come to camp.
Right, absolutely.
You're off for a while.
Yeah.
A little too much, maybe, but
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I absolutely love camp.
yeah. No, it's a blast.
Yeah, because I really feel like God's calling me to come to camp
Yeah.
a little bit more. Like, I know
It's a peaceful
I know
place.
my ministry is like to work with kids and whatnot, but I'm not sure if it's just going to be Bible memory. I don't know if it's going to be bigger than that or not, but
Yeah.
that's just what recently like my calling has been.
That's so cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about that transition because you grow up in the Amish church and like, do you think there's God there? Like it's probably nuanced. I'm not going to say it's not totally, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I never experienced it.
yeah.
I don't know.
There's more rules and tradition.
Yeah, that's basically what the Amish. If there would be no shunning in the Amish church, and no crossing the fence or whatever, if they didn't have any fences or nothing, there would be no Amish church.
That's what keeps them in line.
Yep, the shunning is what keeps them in line.
Yeah. Don't. Learn
It's
from
not.
other people.
They don't have a shepherd. They got to have fences. They don't have a shepherd to lead them.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It is.
Yeah.
It really does. Like I've heard someone say that. And I was like, that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
I said that at junior high camp. I don't know. Were you at junior high?
Yeah,
I was talking
Yeah, that was my first time.
Yeah.
But it was actually before that.
Yeah. It's interesting though because it's like you're right.
Right.
It blew my mind when I heard it too. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's not how they shepherd back then.
Yeah.
That's how they shepherd now, though.
Right. And it's like Yeah, they were talking about like the rod and staff. They didn't whip the sheep or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just guide them.
Yeah. Oh.
It's pretty crazy. Like, it's actually kind of mind blowing once you actually think about it.
Yeah, just how they shepherded back then and how they do now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so how did you start to unravel and actually experience God then?
So my first time experiencing God was on November 8th of last year.
Okay.
So I went to Journey Worship Center. They had a youth worship night there. It was like they had like once a month like a big youth worship night there. So I went there. One of my cousins invited me, and I went there.
Your cousin on Rumspringa?
No, he was not. He used to be, but their family also left the Amish as
Gotcha.
well.
Okay.
So yeah, but he invited me there, and I was like, I kind of wanted to like. So before he even invited me, I actually kind of wanted to go. Like I saw it on Instagram. And I kind of wanted to go, so yeah. Then I told him I'd go, and I went there, and that was probably the night that changed my life. I felt the Holy Spirit there, and just like it was just peace there.
Like real tangible.
Yeah, it was just peace beyond all understanding.
Yeah. And the first time you felt that.
Yeah, it was the first time I felt that.
Wow.
And I never felt it. Like I never felt it anywhere else. I never felt it in the Amish church or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you can't feel that there, but I'm just saying like that's
wasn't
just
there for your experience.
Yeah, it was never there for my experience.
Yeah.
And that was in November, January. I broke up with my girlfriend, and then it was a long distance relationship, so I couldn't go to Journey because I went down to her place every weekend. So that was when in January was when I started fully pursuing God. Like I went to everything. Like, I went to the youth worship nights, and I just started going to church every Sunday. It was just coming more and more. And then February 19th, I got baptized. And then after that, it was just a journey of learning, experiencing new things, getting out of my comfort zone, and yeah.
When you got baptized, what'd your parents?
No,
think? They weren't.
They were my dad. So I got baptized on Sunday. The Saturday before that, my dad tried to talk me out of it.
Really?
Yeah, he called me and was like, "Yeah."
Because you weren't living with them at that point. You were with your sister.
I was living in
in
Elkhart.
Oh wow! So that was even then. Okay.
Yep.
You moved out of your parents' house just so you could drive more.
Yeah, and that my dad kindly kicked me out.
Okay.
Because if I would not have moved out, then they would have been shunned.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you can't have somebody living there at your house, like even your kids, you can't have them living there even if they have a vehicle.
Oh wow! So it was the vehicle that really?
Yeah.
And that's why your brothers never drove.
Yeah, that's why my brothers never drove.
I hate that because you're going on some good things, but did your parents ever pay someone to drive them places?
Yeah, absolutely, every time.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that does not make sense, does it?
Does not make sense.
Yeah. See, a lot of people they don't get it. I don't get it either. I don't get why. I don't get why they can drive tractors that have truck motors in them.
Yeah.
Down the road 50, 60 miles an hour, but they can't drive vehicles.
Yeah. What's up with that? You can sit on your lawnmower and go somewhere.
Right. But yeah. Where was I going?
I'm sorry. Yeah, you were talking about going more into Journey.
Oh, yeah.
Just experiencing that. So you go to get baptized. Your dad calls you and is telling you, trying to talk you out of it, saying, hey.
Yeah, he was like, are you sure this is the right thing? Like, well. And then a couple times after that, too, like, every time I went to, like, their house or whatever. Not every time, but some of the times I went there, he was like, don't you just want to move back home and, just join the Amish church? And I was like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But,
it's you said that parents want their kids to join.
Yeah, they want their kids to join.
And so.
A lot, but I think there's some parents that are really awesome about it. They let their kids decide, and then they support their decision. I think that is amazing. Yeah. Like, my older sister is probably the one that I have, like, the closest relationship with in my family.
The one you moved to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is like, we're really close, kind of, and, I go to their place whenever I want to, kind of just, pop in to see their new baby and, just talk with them and just see how they are.
Yeah.
And like I sometimes help my brother-in-law, make hay too. So
Nice. Yeah.
he has like a 40-acre farm there that has a lot of hay on it and corn and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I just help them.
Extra help at times and
Yeah.
have farm experience. So,
Right.
Right.
And when I lived there too, I also helped him, with the corn and with the hay as well. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it was kind of like she didn't want me to be not Amish,
Yeah.
but she said it's my decision and she will support it. Like she will still
Yeah. She's there for you.
Yeah,
Family.
absolutely.
That's crazy.
And I think that really meant a lot to me.
Yeah. That's touching.
It really is.
Yeah. And you still spend time with her.
Yeah.
Has the relationship changed at all?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That was probably the only one of my siblings that the relationship did not change.
Yeah. The other ones, brothers and stuff.
Yeah, it was like they say that I'm welcome there, but it's just kind of
You feel it.
Yeah, I just feel that there's a little bit of tension there. So
Do you ever tell them that if they need a drive somewhere, just call me up?
yeah, I've driven my sister, like my older sister and her husband around, but not my other siblings.
Really?
That's probably gonna take a little while before they ask me to do that.
Really? Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it was actually when I was in Montana, so I went out to visit my cousins, which they're not Amish anymore either. They had also a really crazy experience.
Really?
So they have a community in Libby, Montana.
Okay. Amish community?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. They're
Just
not.
a community.
Yeah. They used to be Amish.
Uh-huh.
They all left the Amish kind of because there was a lot of problems out there. Like they did not agree with all the Amish stuff.
Wow. And they're so splintered that they probably could start thinking for themselves. And
Yeah.
wow.
They just all moved out there. So my uncle, I should actually go back a little bit. So my uncle, he and his dad and his brothers, they bought like almost 1,000-acre ranch out there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They bought 1,000-acre ranch out there, and this was back in 1995, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And because God told them to move out there. So they bought that ranch out there, and there's like just a bunch of other people living out there right now.
Oh, that's cool.
And
that's the community.
Yeah, and they have like a couple different businesses that are really doing really well. They have a log home, Metal Arc Log Homes.
Okay.
And then they have a store as well, which is like a ENS in Shipshawana.
Yes.
It's like a mini that.
Okay.
They have like a deli and all that stuff.
Ice cream, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Who knows what? Yeah.
So
I've been to like those little ENS pop-ups like in Oklahoma.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you ever go out to Oklahoma, there's one there.
Oh, really?
And it's like,
is it close to the Bible Memory?
The camp, yeah.
Oh, really?
Real close to the camp. And it's literally the same stuff in ENS, the bulk. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like the marshmallows of the Lucky Charms in bulk. You know what I mean? I'm like, and it's the same labels I see in ENS out there from like somewhere out in Ohio. Some place in Ohio produces a ton of Amish goods and just
it's a Walnut Creek.
Yeah, Walnut Creek. Yeah, exactly.
They also ship it out to Montana, actually.
I was gonna say, I wondered if they're.
Yeah, they have a bunch of good businesses out there. They have all their homes they made themselves, like log homes. They're just beautiful.
Oh, I bet they're.
And they're like situated right in the valley of the Cabinet Mountains.
Okay.
And they actually have a mountain that they own.
Oh my word! That's so cool. I bet they hike that all the.
Yeah,
I would be out there hiking that.
They have like a big clearing up there where they have like weddings and all that stuff. A lot of my cousins got married up there, and
that's awesome. So they called out there. All right, so you were saying you went out there though?
Yeah, I went out there. I went out there to visit them. Actually, they also had like a family camp out there, like a church camp, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was not really expecting all this to happen. What happened out there? Because what happened out there really changed my life. I went out there Monday. So I started out Monday. Monday morning, I went to Chicago with the train, with Amtrak.
Yep.
Then from Chicago, I went to Libby.
Okay.
I got dropped off at Libby about 12:05 Wednesday morning, something like that. So it was like a day and a half out there. And so I spent the whole time there at my uncle's cabin and, house and whatnot. And I just helped with this at the store. And then so Thursday night was when the camp started. They had like camp, their church and their school is like right there.
Okay.
Right on the whole ranch and everything. So they had the church camp there. And then I would just help them with the store before like camp starts and whatnot. So I went So it started Thursday evening. They just had like worship, and then Friday they had a whole bunch of other stuff. Friday we went hiking up a mountain, like 2 miles up the mountain. Then we jumped into like a 40, 50 degree lake.
Oh,
that was really cool. So, and then that went on for like the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday night was when they had the last worship session.
Mm-hmm.
And so they called all the youth up there, and I thought they were just going to pray for us. And then we went up there, and all of a sudden, like, there were just people they were just getting the Holy Spirit. Like, they were just getting baptized in the Holy Spirit. It was
nuts.
Crazy. It was really, it was probably like 7 or 8 people at one time. That was like the first time. And that whole experience changed my life.
Wow.
Like, it literally, like, after that, like, I just started stepping out of my comfort zone a lot more. And after that was when God called me to Bible memory. Because that, I was not really planning on going to elementary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I had a bunch of other stuff going on that week. They had revivalists at Journey that week too. So I wasn't really planning on going. Like, I wanted to go really badly, but, I had other stuff that I wanted to do. So I got back from Montana Tuesday night, and then Wednesday I asked my boss if I could go. I was like, it's okay if you say no. Like, I won't be hurt or anything. Like, he was like,
I don't want to put you out. Yeah, exactly.
And because I kind of wanted him to say no.
Yeah.
So I could have a reason to say no to, Chris and Janet.
Yeah.
Which was a really dumb idea. But, yeah, and then right after I talked with him, like, he said he'll let me know for sure. And then right after I talked with him, like, God just started speaking to me, like, I need to go to Bible memory.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay, well, I need the money from my job, and he was just, I need you to go to Bible memory. And I was like, okay. So back in junior high camp, Chris, we had the plates and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, he wrote Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6. And I read it only once. I did not memorize it at all. And all of a sudden, those 2 verses came into my heart. It was trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And after those verses came into my heart, it was just like, wow. Like, I just felt peace. I just knew I needed to do it. So then that afternoon I talked with Chris, and then I told him that I'm going to be there.
Did your boss say you're good to go, basically?
Yeah, he made sure that I could go.
Wow. That's cool.
I told him what happened. Like, he's Amish.
Yeah.
But he understands a lot of that stuff, which is really cool.
That's cool.
So, yeah. But, yeah, that was just after that, it was just a lot of that week was a crazy week for me.
Yeah.
Like, it was a really, it was a messy week, but it was a beautiful mess.
Yeah.
Because I knew God's got everything.
Yeah.
I was just at peace with a lot of stuff that week.
Yeah.
And just after that, it was just, after that Sunday night was when my life, like, really changed.
Really?
Like, seeing, like, being
that touched by
just like it just seemed I just got filled to the top and just overflowing with the Holy Spirit. It was just more.
And you were just getting probably download after download after download.
Absolutely. It was just, and I actually got a vision for somebody there too.
No way.
Yeah, after everything had kind of calmed down, I looked over to a little girl, like she was probably 12 or so, and I saw an angel come down and pour a pitcher of water over her head.
No way. Did you tell her that?
Yeah, I told her that.
That's stepping out of your comfort zone.
It really, that really was.
Yeah.
And also was, something that I've, learned, one of my spiritual gifts is like praying for people. That is also really stepping out of my comfort zone because, I like talking to new people, but I don't like making them uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. And like just talking about stuff that's coming to you.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, well, how did he know that?
Right.
Or what? That's a God thing. That's a cool thing.
It really is. So, yeah. So that's something that I've been doing the past few weeks, just stepping out of my comfort zone a lot. And
yeah.
God's
we were
really
very
moving.
thankful that you, and talking to Chris, coming to that.
Yeah.
That was very helpful. I mean, for the whole, and you had the elementary kids. That's a fun age.
Yeah, it was.
They're so sweet. They're just little homies.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. And there was like a lot of, there was like times like after that I was like, okay, God, like why did you put me there? Like, cause I'm sure he put me there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think was because of a little kid. He kind of reminded me when I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
He was really rebellious and like he just didn't want to sit down. And so yeah, I kind of helped him with that. And I think
You related.
Yeah.
You knew how to talk to them.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty confident that's why God put me there.
Yeah.
Even if it was just for that little thing.
Yeah.
Which
That's kind of cool.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah. That's so cool. You said the crazy thing about your cousins leaving. I was just thinking about that. Was that the fact that God called them to the 1,000 acres, or was there like shunning and different stuff with that?
It was
Switch topics real
No.
quick. Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, God called them over there. They did not have any money at all.
Oh wow.
It was God that literally that He didn't give it to them, but He pretty much did. Like He provided everything for it, and now they have like 2 huge businesses. Like they have a lot of businesses.
That's cool.
So,
I didn't know if it was like a shunning thing or something of the Amish.
yeah, I think so.
That too.
Yeah, it was just here's the thing. Like when Amish people start studying the Bible, actually, most of them they leave the Amish.
Can't you get in trouble for studying the Bible too much? Isn't that like a thing?
Well, that's when they leave the Amish. When they start studying the Bible a lot, and other people find out about it, they're gonna get in trouble, and then they're gonna leave.
Wow.
That's how most of the times. Not all the times, but most of the times.
Wow. That's unfortunate.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when your whole let's not when you live by this, but then if you start studying it, you're in trouble.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like a lot of people like they just don't know that it's like a lot of Amish people they don't know it's in the Bible.
Do you think you were ever going to go back to the Amish church, or were you already on your way out?
That was another thing too. Like when I grew up, I have had dreams of not becoming Amish, not being Amish, or like when I was in my Roman Spring, I always thought I would kind of probably go back sometime.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I was a little kid, like I would always dream of driving a semi, be a truck driver.
Really? Yeah.
So yeah, that's also
sitting out there like chucking corn. Man, I want to be a truck driver.
Yeah, and also another thing, when I was a little kid, I've had not this explained to me yet, but when I was a little kid, I've had a lot of dreams about God, about heaven, like about me being in heaven. I never got really an interpretation for that. I don't know.
Do you remember those dreams?
A lot of them do.
Yeah. I have an interpreter for you. If you want to connect with her, it's my sister. Not the one you met, but a different one.
Okay.
And she's really good at biblical dream interpretation, because there's other types of dream interpretation. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get you connected. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I have dreams every once in a while, especially if you remember a dream.
Mm-hmm.
There's significance to it.
Right.
Like we go through our life and we forget our dreams all the time, but if it's like a vivid dream and you remember it, that's probably like an indicator of like, hey, this is a message.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Then if you look at the Bible, how God talks to people throughout the whole Bible, if you break it down, like, he physically is talking to them, it's through, he comes to it. But dreams and visions, if you look at the Bible, that's 1/3 of the way God talks to people.
Yeah, right.
And we spend 1/3 of our life dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
So there's correlations there that
Right.
are interesting. So God's definitely talking to people that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny that you would have those dreams of. I mean,
yeah, I think sometimes like it's because I would often cry myself to sleep when I was a little kid because I didn't really get much attention.
Yeah.
And because I was kind of in between like
With
girls,
different kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So all my brothers were like older than like my brother that is just older than me. He's about 8 years older than me.
Wow.
So yeah, I didn't really have any brothers, and I didn't really connect with my sisters either.
So
like,
you were
I usually
lost.
would just taunt them or make them mad or make them cry or something like that, which
Yeah.
is something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was kind of God showing me that He was with me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's tough.
it really is. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was, but God got me through it.
Yeah. And like you said at the start of this, you had a good life, childhood.
Yeah, I did.
It wasn't.
I really did. I have a lot of great memories growing up.
Yeah. I think some of that too is you were disconnected from. I mean, the English grow up with phones and stuff.
Yeah,
and
right.
You miss a lot of things.
Yeah, you do. You really do, because I've had a lot of great memories of like playing with my cousins, going out in the woods, playing cowboys and Indians.
Yeah.
That was really fun. Like we would, the cowboys would the Indians would tie the cowboys up to trees and.
No way. Yeah. Well, if you have 10 acres of woods, that's
Right.
awesome too.
Right.
Yeah.
And also like a lot of my cousins, they had woods too. So.
Yeah, and you lived close.
Not really.
Okay.
Well, it was it was the closest was like 3 miles, but that wasn't really close because it would like take half an hour with the horse and buggy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And like the furthest away was like it was in. So I lived in LaGrange, and the furthest away was Napanee.
Wow. That's
and
a
we
trek.
would always get a driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would not. Which is
Yeah. That's the funny thing. How about like when you guys would get food? Would you get a van and a driver for food? Or would
no.
they? Was there a local?
We would just go to ENS.
Okay.
So yeah, we live about 5 miles from ENS.
So that was doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or then once a month maybe, or once every like twice a year maybe, we would go to Walmart in Sturgis, which was like 14 miles away.
Yeah.
We would drive that with about horse and buggy too.
Really?
So, yeah, we would like load up with a lot of stuff and
That you can't get from ENS and
yeah,
things. Yeah.
like, and it's cheaper. Sometimes it's cheaper too. But
yeah.
maybe
You would bulk up. How do you
Yeah.
get all the kids? If you have 9 kids, I mean, I guess they're not all in the buggy at the same time. But how do you get everyone in?
So we would have
2
like
buggies.
we would have like what they call the double buggies,
Okay.
and that's like 2 seats.
Okay.
And though the single buggies is just 1 seat. So we would,
Okay.
whenever we would go someplace or whatever. So okay, so my oldest brother he's in 1990, so he would be 33.
Okay.
And my youngest sister, she's in 2007, so that would be 16. She's 16.
Oh wow.
So
there's
it's
almost 14-year spread.
yeah, I really.
Yeah.
Wait, is it?
She's 16. And
Yeah,
he's
and
30.
33.
Oh, 33. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking 30.
That would be
Yeah, that's 17.
Okay.
No,
I thought it was more
18.
than that.
I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
do math. No, 17.
Yeah,
So
it was
90 to 20,
Yeah.
2007. Yeah. That's still a spread.
It really is. Yeah.
17 years of having kids.
Yeah.
Go, Lord. But that's
And
lot
then
of
I don't
sleepless
think we
nights.
ever we always would just get use like 2 or 3 buggies or something like that.
Yeah.
Because by the time my youngest sister was born, my older brother, he was like
Married.
starting Rumspringa. Well,
Oh.
he wasn't married yet, but he was on Rumspringa.
Gotcha.
So they would always drive separate.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Okay.
Because most of the times, like my dad would, get like a used buggy or something for my older brothers when they started Rumspringa, so
Yeah.
they could, drive that.
Go out and do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they joined the church and they turned 21, I think they get a brand new buggy.
Oh, wow. From the dad? Or from the church?
No, not from the church.
Okay.
No, I think my dad would pay some of it though, but I'm not sure
Okay.
how much though. I'm not sure. But I know some parents like they give their kids like new
Nice.
buggies.
Yeah.
So yeah, and those costs probably average of new buggy is probably like $12,000.
Wow.
It can go up to at least $20,000.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, then you got to add the horse. Horses are expensive too.
Well, the horse is not included in that price.
Yeah, I was gonna
The
say.
horse is another like $10,000.
Yeah.
7 to 10 grand, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like horses. So my dad never really got expensive horses.
Yeah.
He would always just get like kind of the
horse or
yeah.
run of the mill.
Those would be probably an average of like $3,000-5,000, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Still, that's a new car.
yeah.
I mean,
it is.
maybe not a new car, but
It's a used car.
yeah, you could definitely spend money on. That's crazy. Yeah, that's interesting. And, those are things that like you just don't know because you're not in that lifestyle,
Right,
So you
right.
wonder, 3 miles is gonna take you 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Because you go about 10 miles an hour,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
not quick.
Yeah. it's
And the
not-
other thing with like, I'm in a car, I'm going 10 miles an hour. I'm going 10 miles an hour consistently
right.
for those miles, right?
Right.
Horse and buggy, you're going 4, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's as fast as the horse goes.
Yeah.
It's not consistent,
But they still
they're-
like there's
They
there's
got their
very seldom-
pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's very seldom where they walk. Sometimes if they're like it's a long drive, like 16 miles,
Oh, yeah.
then they let them walk for like the last half mile or
Just
so.
walk, cool them down a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or then when we would get to like if it was a hot summer day, we would get to our cousin's place or get home from our cousin's place or whatever. Like we would just take the horse, like put like a hose with cold water and just wash the
but they
horse off.
love the, they're like, yes. Because you get that lather.
Yeah,
That
the
like
white
sweat.
lather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sweat on. I see them going, especially like the hot days.
Oh yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. Oh man, it's just fat. Yeah. How does this? How do you go get food? How do you do that stuff? You just wonder. And it's like you go to ENS and you can't have electricity, but then all the food is inside a building that's full of electricity.
Right. Yeah.
Being stored
It's
there.
just a lot of different.
Would they do like one big run, or was it?
It's probably like once a week.
Yeah.
Once a week groceries.
Would you guys ever go out to like eat, get fast food?
Very seldom. If we would, so sometimes we would like go to McDonald's, which is in LaGrange. Like we would go to Miller's, which is in LaGrange as well. That's a bulk food store.
Okay.
And then McDonald's was right on the other side. There was like very seldom where we would get McDonald's.
Yeah.
But I always enjoyed McDonald's.
Yeah, that's probably a highlight.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. Did they have a place?
No. They don't have,
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would get Subway too sometimes, and then most of the times we would just get pop from the store or like a bag of chips or something on the way home. So yeah,
it's like your treat.
Yeah,
for doing that. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, here's another question for you. So I know when people graduate 8th grade and they go to work, I've heard, I could be totally wrong, but most of the time the parents keep their checks and give a small percentage to the kid.
Yep.
And then will then give that money to them after they join.
No.
Or no? Never.
No. They just, so when I started working, I would like, most of my paycheck would go with my dad. I would like maybe get $20 for my first paychecks.
Really?
Maybe $20 or so. And then not even $20. My allowance back then was like maybe $5 a week.
Wow.
And yeah, and that does not go a long way when you're partying, drinking beer, buying cigarettes and all that stuff. That doesn't go a long way for me. So yeah, I would always say, and this is kind of embarrassing, but I would like steal money from my dad's wallet to pay for that stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he's paying you $5 a.
Yeah, and he was like keeping most of my paychecks. So, I would really struggle to make ends meet and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, that's also kind of when I learned, about money and whatnot, like, how to save money.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always switch. I would make a lot of money like trapping groundhogs.
Okay.
I would either shoot them or like do you know what a conibear is? It's a body trap.
Oh yeah.
They just have like springs that when they go through, they have like two tongues going down. They just snaps the body, and they just die immediately.
I have one of my out for my moles right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like
so I would do that to my neighbors because he had a lot of groundhogs, and I would like either shoot them or trap them so yeah.
He paid for you.
Yeah, he would like pay me like $3 for the small ones and $5 for the big ones. So I would make a lot of money from that too.
Yeah. But you didn't have to give that to your dad.
No. That was all my money.
Why did he take the 90% then, or whatever? Because that's like
it's because supposedly like I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah,
I should ask.
It never gives you it back.
No.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that. So I wondered if it was like once you come back to the church, they help you pay for your property or something.
I think I'm not sure. So my dad. So when I started keeping my own checks, like when I turned 18, I got my own bank account because I wanted to keep my own checks because I wanted to buy a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my dad told me if I don't give my money back to him, like if I don't start, I can keep some of my check, but I have to give the rest of it to him. If I don't give the rest of it to him, then he's not gonna. What's that thing called when they die? Like you give.
Oh, in the will.
Yeah, inheritance or whatever.
Inheritance. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm probably not gonna be in the inheritance or anything. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you got paid to be in the inheritance. That's interesting.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is, but it's at least more of my brothers can get it. So
yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there probably wasn't with 9 kids.
Yeah,
it's a very small sliver.
Right.
Yeah, that's Amish mafia. Is that a thing?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
No. There's a lot of like we make jokes about it all the time. Like,
yeah.
When you're on Roman Spring, like we make jokes about it, but no, it's not a thing.
Yeah, you're probably just buying it from the drug dealer and wherever. If they're getting drugs, it's not Amish ring.
No.
It's like
I mean, sometimes there's like Amish kids that are drug dealers, but yeah.
For the most part, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I never knew any. I know there were a lot of Amish married men that would like do drugs and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I never knew about it or anything. Yeah. Like I know there's a lot of them that smoke cigarettes. Like a lot of them.
Oh yeah, the people who did my roof, they were smoking just nonstop.
Amish.
Yeah, they were Amish.
Where were they from?
I forget who it was. Martin's something. It's a steel roof.
Okay.
So they put it on a steel roof.
Okay.
And they would come in the afternoons, and it was literally get done with their factory job, come,
Oh, really?
put on the roof. They did that 2 days in a row.
Nice.
And they're just like 2 or 3 packs.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Like Marlboro Reds, like Cowboy
Yeah.
Killers. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, they smoke a lot.
Yeah.
And also chew.
You really? Yeah. Probably typically when they're at work.
Yeah,
Right?
most of the
Because
times.
people aren't really watching as much.
Yeah.
You're not-
In the factory, like, it was crazy how many. I worked with a lot of Amish men at the factory, and it was crazy how many of them smoked.
Really? Yeah.
And vaped as well.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see an Amish person vaping.
Yeah.
That'd be wild to see that. Yeah.
I mean, they weren't
the
supposed to vape. So Crossroad was a really, I don't know, there was a lot of weed smoking going on there.
Really? Yeah.
Like, they were not supposed to vape or absolutely not smoke weed at all in there.
Right.
Like, even at work or whatever, it doesn't matter where you're at. You cannot smoke weed. But they would get their dab pens out during work and just
No
hit it,
way.
rip it.
Are they on Rumspringa or are they actually like married
so
men?
so the
Both.
married men, they didn't smoke weed, but they would vape in the building. So yeah.
They're not hitting their dab pins and going back to
Yeah.
work or whatever.
I'm not. I never saw any of them hit a dab pen, but
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of my coworkers that hit dab pens that they were not Amish.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, factory work. That's just it. That is what it is. I mean,
Yep.
that's everywhere. All my friends.
They run off. Most of them ran off of Adderall as well.
Yeah. Red Bull, dab pins, and Adderall. Yeah, Adderall. That's big in the factories.
That
and
is
is it
big in the Amish.
So I was going to ask.
Oh yeah,
Because it's like that's like meth. It really
it is. It's a smaller amount version of meth.
Yeah. And is that big in Rumspringa or is that big
Oh, yeah.
just all?
I'm not sure. So I think a lot of them get it from, like, they might be diagnosed. A lot of the Amish kids might be diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
So they just buy a lot of it and they just sell it to their friends.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah,
They just get-
and it's like when you're at a party or whatever, it's like $30 a pill.
oh wow.
So they can make a killing off of it.
Yeah.
There was an Amish kid that made $10,000 at one party, Amish party, selling Adderall.
Way. Just going to, and when you're drinking, I mean that's
Yeah, that is
you can
when-
drink even harder.
Oh yeah, you can stay up later. Like it's I did that I did it often actually, but there was a time where I didn't sleep for 2 days.
Oh my word. Yeah. That's tough.
Like I took it Saturday night, I think, like late Saturday night, and I didn't sleep. Like I didn't sleep Sunday night at all. Like next morning I had to go
You're
to work.
still just like, yeah.
Literally, like
Yeah.
you just like it's just in a
You're
haze
up.
kind of.
Yeah. And there's no way you can come down.
Yeah.
Unless you do some
And
other
then
drug
when
that's
it comes
like
down, you
Oh.
do not feel good at all.
You
It's
crash.
just, you just crash, and it's just like, yeah. And you don't really have a hangover when you have Adderall. So that's when the hangover starts coming.
Oh yeah. Oh, and you're probably at work.
Yeah.
What am I doing with my life?
At the factory.
yeah. Trying to
Right.
bust as hard as you can go as fast. And you're Amish, so you got to work hard.
Yeah.
To let everyone else know that you're Amish.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. That's kind of the stereotype I've heard is this is what I've heard. Okay. So,
Yeah.
But they used to come into the factories at 6 a.m. Let's say it's 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And so all the people would show up, but the Amish wanted to make sure everyone knew that they're Amish, so they come at 5. Work started. So then they changed the hours to 5 a.m. So then everyone comes in at 5 a.m. And I was like, okay, we'll start coming at 4. You know what I mean? It's just like, and that's why factories start at 4 a.m. I don't know if that's true.
No, they actually start at 5. Most of them, I
5,
think
yeah.
some of them start at 4, but most of them start at 5.
It's just like that was
Yeah.
the tale I was told.
I don't know if that's true. It could be, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of English people that drive like Amish men
Yeah.
to work. So
Really? Okay. That's how I've heard. Yeah. My dad did that. That's how we met our friends.
Oh really?
He used to work at Jayco. He
Oh, yeah.
just pick people up as he would go.
Yeah.
You can make a nice little.
Yeah, you do.
pocket
I made so when I worked at Crossroads, I would charge my riders. I took in like 3 people. I would charge them $15 or like $5 a ride, $5 to work, and $5 from work.
Wow.
So it was like $10 a day for 3 people. So it was like $30 a day
Yeah. Times.
times 5. That's like $150.
Yeah. That's nice.
So that's plus on top of my paycheck. So
Yeah. Just extra cash. I mean, you have to get up and move a little bit earlier, but it's like
Right. I mean, I got up at, I think it was like 3:30 or so, 3:30, 3:45.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I had to be at work by, I wanted to be at work by 4:45, so yeah.
Yeah. Be punctual,
Mm-hmm.
on time. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm working. Yeah. What time would you get off? Like 2?
It kind of varied from day to day. The factories, they vary from day to day.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have any specific hours. It was just like you would get, so I think we got like 21 units. We had to get 21 units done in a day. Sometimes it would
Piece
be 2
rate,
o'clock.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would be 2 o'clock. Sometimes it would be 12 o'clock. Sometimes it would be 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Very few times where it was 10 o'clock, but.
As soon as you get them done,
Yep.
you're good to go.
That's
nice.
why that's why the factories go so fast. Is like
It's incentivizing.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Get
Yeah.
these units out, get them knocked out and done.
Yep.
That's wild. Shoot, I had another question for you. I'm just getting all my Amish questions out. Like,
Yeah,
what about this
absolutely.
one? What about that one? It'll come back to me. Well, I know services are segregated, right? Was your guys' service segregated when you'd have church, women on one side, men on the
Yeah.
other?
Yep.
Yeah. And that was pretty fascinating when I went. I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. The families don't sit together.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you sit with your dad.
Yeah.
And
Until you're so. In our church, like in our or like in my church, you would sit with your dad until you're like maybe 10 or
Okay.
so, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not even sure because I don't remember. It was
Yeah.
such a long time ago, I don't really remember. So you would sit with your dad when you're 10, and like, the Amish kids, they wear suspenders,
yeah.
and you could wear suspenders, or you have to wear suspenders until you're like 14 or 15.
Okay.
That was in my church, but there was a lot of other churches where you were 12, you didn't have to wear suspenders anymore.
Okay.
Then you were cool.
Oh yeah, you're part of the cool crowd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then when you turned 10 or 12, you could go sit wherever.
Yeah,
or
you had
sit with your buddies.
sit with your buddies. You would so the kids that were not 16 yet, they were like 15 and under, between 15 and 10.
Yeah.
They would all line up outside from their age group or whatever, like the oldest to youngest. So
And then that's when they would sit you
yeah, they would sit us in the front, so we would
in front of everyone.
yeah, so
Pay
we would
attention.
misbehave.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple times where we would sit in the back, and yeah, that was stuff that would happen. But
Yeah.
sometimes there was some times where I had to go sit with my dad because I was misbehaving.
No way.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's
take me by the
crazy.
ear and just take me over to this place.
Well, how long are those services? Hours?
So they start at 9 and they go until like 12:30.
Okay.
Sometimes 12.
Always at someone else's house. They rotate.
Yep.
Right.
Almost everybody takes a turn. There's some people that they just don't have place for it, so they don't take turns, or then somebody else takes a turn for them. So
Yeah. Then,
yeah, it's every 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's wild. That's kind of nice that you're not every week at church.
Yeah.
It is kind of nice
And then sometimes like you go to maybe your cousins or
to
somebody
visit
yeah.
or whatever. Yeah. You have different families in. Are you still close with all the kids that you grew up with?
No, I don't know. I haven't seen any of them
Really?
in a long time.
So that's because you can. I mean, you're living life with them
Yeah.
for so long, and then it's just like,
Yeah. I mean, it didn't really bother me that much at all because I found a new family. So
yeah,
Yeah.
new friends. Do you ever see? Well, like, do you guys do reunions and things like that too?
Yeah.
Big family get-togethers. Do you go to those?
I have not been to those in
Yeah.
a couple of years actually. No.
Do you think that will ever change?
Yeah, I'll probably start going to them in a couple
Yeah.
of years.
I'm sure time will.
Probably once I get married, I'm probably gonna
Yeah.
Which actually probably before that, probably next year. Which I didn't really. Now I kind of want to go. Just I don't know because I love my family.
Yeah.
Even if they don't really accept me, I still love them.
Yeah. They're
And
part of
I
who
like,
you are.
and I have
Yeah.
a bunch of nieces and nephews that I really love,
Yeah.
and I know like they love me as well.
Yeah. Regardless of if you're Amish
Yeah.
or not. Yeah.
Yeah, I know they do because I mean it's kind of fun sometimes. Like they just tell me like you can't drive a car. I was like, well, when you're as old as me, you can drive a car too. Like I make sure they don't tell their parents.
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of fun.
That's
I really love hanging around with my nieces and nephews.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if that's part of your calling is those kids too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's just like I think I know my calling is kids, but it's just
What is it? How does it unfold? Where's that
Yeah.
at? Yeah.
like
So it's
I
got-
know it's starting at Bible memory
Yeah.
because I really want to do travel next year.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the different states Bible memory started in the Mennonite church.
Oh, really?
And so everywhere we go, there's an Amish community. It's interesting.
I see.
Yeah.
And there's always Amish people cooking, or
But they're one generation removed. Like we were in Oklahoma, and the cook there, her parents are Amish,
really?
but she's not. You know what I mean? It's like that close. So, people who were you when they were younger. It's interesting to so I pick their brain when I'm out there.
Right.
So each camp from Ohio to Iowa to Michigan to
Oklahoma, yeah.
Oklahoma,
I've heard there were Amish out there, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what part of Iowa is the other one?
It's close. It's real close to Chicago, close to the border, and so
okay, yeah. There's a couple Amish communities in Iowa. I don't know really where. I just know Bloomfield, Iowa, which I don't know where that is.
Yeah, I have no clue. I wasn't there for the full camp. I was there for the day because the baby was coming. So
okay.
I didn't want to be in Iowa, and then my wife goes into labor. That would have been awful.
So that was right before junior high, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, the baby was due during junior high camp.
Yeah, and you were there the whole time.
Yeah, we were there. It was kind of nice, actually, because if she would have been at the house, she would have done stuff, and she would have been worrying. She actually could just be there and chill at that location. It's a nice camp. I really love it. It's very peaceful there.
Yeah.
I feel a real sense of peace there. I like it. Each camp's different, though.
Yeah.
We have a camp in southern Indiana, which you may have met some of the kids at junior high who came up.
A lot of them, actually.
Big Amish community down there, too. So it's just, and I say Amish is really, it's a spectrum. Like, people who didn't grow up in Goshen, they say Mennonite. Yeah. They think Mennonite means Amish. It doesn't.
Really?
Yeah. So many people I lived in Florida for a year. They're like, oh, yeah, you have a ton of Mennonites up there. I'm like, yes, but you're talking about Amish, right? Because there's a lot of Mennonites who don't drive horse and buggy. And there's some Mennonites who are not conservative at all.
And there's Mennonites who do drive horse and buggy.
And there's Mennonites who do, yeah. There's old order Mennonites. There's beachy Amish. There's like shades, so many different shades.
Yeah, and it's like they don't really serve with each other as well.
Yeah, they're isolated, right? They've got their own rules.
Here's where I don't understand. We're the body of Christ. We should all be one with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where the enemy wants. That's what the enemy wants is separation.
Yeah. Isolated.
Yep.
Yeah. You're between your brothers and sisters, and you're alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's your story. Is literally you're around Amish. So close, but you're
absolutely.
Alone.
I would definitely advise the viewers to go to Breaking the Silence on YouTube. It's like they're like 6 videos, like 42 minutes each, and they're really good.
Is it a local guy, or
his dad grew up in Middlebury.
Okay,
and then they moved out to West Kootenai, Montana.
Okay,
that's where they left the Amish.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, they like open everything up about the Amish. They're Amish. They're like Amish people that give their testimonies there, and it's really amazing.
Breaks it down.
Oh yeah,
helps you understand.
It breaks everything down. It's like everything from the Anabaptists in Switzerland to when they moved to France.
Back in the day, 1700s or
1600s. So the Anabaptists started in 1523. I was just listening to one of the and then the Amish were started by Jacob Ammon in 1693.
Okay.
Jacob Ammon and Mena Simons. So Jacob Ammon, Amish comes from Ammon.
Okay.
And Mena Simons, Mennonites.
Wow. Okay.
So, and then Jacob Ammon wanted to be more conservative than Mena Simons did. So that is when the Mennonites and the Amish split. And then the people that wanted to be with Mena Simons
stayed there.
Yeah.
And then the Amish, that's wild, and it just fractured.
Yeah, and the reasons that they don't have mustaches, like the Amish don't wear mustaches, is because in France during the war, this was back in the 1600s, like they like the soldiers, they would wear mustaches. So they didn't want to be a part of the war because they were
pacifists.
Yeah.
So then they didn't wear mustaches. And now 2023 communities, hundreds of thousands of people don't wear mustaches because of that.
Yeah. I think it's because of that, and because so they see English people as the world.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So if you have a mustache, then you're of the world. But they have beards.
Yeah.
You know.
There's some Amish communities in New York that have mustaches. They have like the kind of, I don't know, maybe like the 5 o'clock shades or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah.
A lot of shaving.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And then there's some people, because once you get married, you can't shave at all, the beard, right?
Yeah.
So then if you've not grown your beard in and not been shaving, it's a scraggly little.
Yeah, right. And there are Amish men that they cannot grow a beard. That's like a couple hairs coming down.
Yeah, it's like they're clean shaven, but it's just like a hair there.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, it's just fascinating, the world that's there, and it's like so close, but you're right, it's isolated.
Right.
I've been trying to break in and talk to different, I mean, there's needs there, there's relationship. I love the community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I wish I could. And there's some practices like the cell phone thing. I mean, I'm so tied up in the cell phone all the time. Maybe I need to put that in a booth outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or maybe not, but have a section for it so it's not in my life. It's kind of hidden away.
Right.
There's things like that where I'm like, there's wisdom here.
Mm-hmm. And they, like, you probably know, they don't have cell phone. They just have landlines.
Yeah, landlines out in the phone booth by the driveway.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes, like, so our phone booth, when I was at home, our phone booths were like maybe a couple hundred yards down the road from us.
Wow.
At another person's driveway. So that was like maybe, I think it was like 3 or 4 neighbors that would share that same phone booth.
Really?
So yeah.
So then you have to listen to everyone else's answering it. Yeah. Or would they just be kind of hanging out there?
No.
There.
So we would have a flag or whatever, like an orange flag that would go up, and to make sure that nobody, like somebody knows that they're there. And when they get done, they just put like, yeah.
Do you have an answering machine?
Yeah, they have an answering machine with like a couple different boxes. So like one family, maybe like their kids would have a separate box or whatever, like just a it's a message.
Hey, here's the layman's. These layman's. If you want to talk to them, if you want to talk to these layman's, come push number 2. Right?
Yeah, right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting. That's cool though.
Yeah.
It's a different culture, you know.
Yeah, right.
And you guys don't have any electricity. Do you guys have freezers and fridges?
Yeah.
Okay. Were they?
And that was another thing too. So we had all my years growing up, we would have English neighbors.
Okay.
And we would put freezers over there in their barn because they had electricity.
Oh.
So yeah. And
so then you would just walk over there and get your stuff.
Yeah. But we actually have propane powered fridges. My parents, they have propane powered fridges and freezers as well. So yeah. But a lot of them, they have electricity from solar panels. They're starting to get more and more of that. I was
going to say with the duck farm that your dad, does he run that off of solar? Maybe?
No, we actually, so this was just a couple years, actually just a year ago. He got a generator, like a big gen set for it.
Oh, nice.
But before that, it was everything off of gas, propane.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then we would have like a motor that would like start, like an automatic start motor for like the water pressure and everything. So.
Wow. Yeah, because that's all probably automated and
and lights were also all propane.
Wow.
Now the lights are like just automatic electricity. So.
Right. It's upgraded.
Yeah, that was actually a really big upgrade for my parents as well. Like it probably doesn't cost as much.
Yeah, propane's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and we had a shortage in 2020, and there's like all this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's people are fighting over things. I mean, yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. Wait, so when did you leave your parents' house? Was it 2020 or 2019?
2020. Okay.
This is like
it was 2021.
2021. It's so recent. That's so wild.
I think so. Yeah, because I was born in 2003, and I would be 18. Yeah, in 2021.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, I have a different question now that just came into my mind. Talk about dating.
Mm-hmm.
What it's different than, and I'm sure this is something you've been kind of learning. Maybe in your own sharing, but what's like because it's courtship, right? Or what's the...
So normally they have a couple dates or whatever.
Okay.
And then they go steady, where they would be like a couple.
Okay.
Like they don't really go out on... I mean, they go out on dates sometimes, but it's just like...
Now they're hanging out all the time. Yeah. Okay.
Like they're in a relationship right now. Like when they're dating, they're not really in a relationship.
Yeah, they're just checking it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but a lot of when you're on Rumspringa, most of the relationships start by hooking up.
Gotcha. So
which is like, they meet at a party and they're both drunk and, they go do stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when a lot of relationships start.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they tie. It's a soul tie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tie right there.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then that's like the rest of their life. Maybe not always, but
Yeah, it's not always, but I don't think the Amish youth realize that that's a soul tie.
yeah.
Because I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, no one told me.
Nobody told me until I started going the journey, and I realized I have soul ties with some people.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
That's not fun. So you have to unravel that.
yeah, and I didn't really. I kind of like after I thought, so like before I found out it was a soul tie, like I've kind of like I've kind of thought about it, but I didn't know it was a soul tie. Like I've kind of thought something about them,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I realized it was soul tie, I was like, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Let's keep tugging on you.
yeah,
Yeah, why am I thinking about this person? Why am I?
right.
Yeah. So that's why it's I don't think a lot of Christians even know about it. I mean,
No.
I don't think it's Amish. I think it's just
Yeah,
a lot
right.
of people don't realize.
And I also never had like my dad. We never had to talk or anything.
Really?
My parents, no.
Yeah. But you're around farm animals. You can
Yeah.
kind of see.
I mean, still, but I didn't. Just a lot of the basic stuff I didn't really know
Yeah.
until I started.
Partying.
Yeah.
And that's where you learn. That's unfortunate too.
It is really like
Yeah.
not learning by experience. That's not fun.
Yeah. It's just go in and figure it out. And you
Right.
go, gosh. Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I wish the Amish did. Like they would talk a little bit more about that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so they just tell you that you can't have sex before you're married. They don't tell you the reason why. They just tell you that because that's all you need to know.
Wow.
They don't tell you like God's heart behind it and all that stuff.
Right.
Because I don't think they even know.
That's in the church today too.
Yeah,
It's not a Amish thing.
Yeah,
I'll
it
say
is.
that because it's in the I mean, I growing up, they didn't talk about things like that. My parents were really cool. Like I had better discussions about it than a lot of my friends. Growing
Oh,
up.
really?
But my parents were a little different than I would say most. But I mean, I remember I went to a Christian college and I was driving with this guy and he's like, had this little thing. He's like, you know what the key to the best sex you're gonna ever have?
Mm-hmm.
And it was this little like air freshener that said it is like the key to the best sex you'll ever have. I'm like, okay. And like, wait until marriage. That was it. I'm like, okay, why? Why is that?
Right.
How's that gonna be the best sex you've ever had? And you didn't have it. It's just because you have to wait till marriage.
Right.
I'm like, that's
But why?
But why? Why is that? Why? And I don't know if that would be the best sex you ever had. I don't know if that's a legitimate truth. I think the best sex is when you're actually connected to someone who
Right.
you love, and I mean that you don't want to bring baggage into that,
Right.
and stuff like.
Right.
There's a lot of more than that little. Here's this little quip, and he's just a little Christian kid. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna have the best sex of my. And he's gonna get on his wedding night. I don't know if he's gonna have the best sex of his life, and it might totally change the way that he was believing things.
Right.
But sorry, I'm just going on my tangent, but I've been thinking about that a little bit. I'm like,
Yeah,
this
and
is-
I think that's why a lot of Amish like couples they have problems is because they don't have that enough.
yeah.
They don't have those intimate moments with each other enough
Oh yeah, it's
Like,
harsh. I'm
yeah.
sure.
because it's a bad thing to them. It's a bad thing.
Oh yeah, shame,
Yeah.
guilt. There's probably a lot of shame in the community.
Oh yeah.
It's controlled by shame.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is definitely one of the biggest things in the Amish community is control. Like they control you by guilt and shaming. Like they try to make you like feel guilty about something that you did that was actually. So like my parents, they often like try to make me feel guilty about going to Journey and whatnot.
Really?
So yeah.
Yeah, shaming you.
Yeah, it's really like and they think that's of God. Shame is from God. Guilt and shame is from God.
Man, no.
I've tried to like, and that this was another thing too, of like I used to tell my parents like all of my God moments and Jesus moments that I had like at Journey whatever,
Yeah.
and
Oh no.
I found out real quick like you can't tell them that stuff because they don't understand.
Wow.
They do not understand it. They think you're weird.
Yeah.
And I just there was a couple people that told me that you just can't do that. You
Yeah.
just got to be quiet about that stuff. You just got to love on them. You just got to pray for them every night. I do pray for them.
Yeah.
I don't pray for them every night, which I should, but I do. I pray for them often.
Yeah, don't shame yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
If you don't pray for them every night, it's not the end of the world. You know?
And that was another thing too that I had a problem with, like shaming myself for stuff that I did, because that's what I did all my life, like shaming myself. I beat myself up for stuff.
Yeah. I'm not good enough. I'll never be good enough.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you work so hard, to be good enough for
Right.
heaven. In a way.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of Amish people are hard workers.
Yeah.
And I don't do that because of that. Because I love work.
Right.
I love to work.
There's something beautiful about that too. Just
Yeah.
getting something done. It feels so good.
Because I can't really just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
I gotta do something.
You gotta move and shake. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, that's fascinating. It's such a there's so many things in the Amish world that I'm like, man, I see that around.
Mm-hmm.
And just same principles. Like the devil does stuff the same way
Right.
everywhere. It's not different. But then there's things that's like, oh, that's fascinating. That world is
Right.
a little bit more different than mine in ways.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yep.
cool.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man. Yeah, don't be ashamed. Don't be full of shame.
Yeah.
There's none of that, and that's such a controlling thing.
It really is. Yeah.
Would you say, okay, we'll end on this if that's cool.
Yeah, that's okay with me.
My butt's starting to hurt.
Yeah. Same.
These chairs are. Do you think? And I think people have said this. Do you think an Amish is a cult? That's a big question. So
Yeah.
yeah.
There's some stuff about it that is a cult. Define cult.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the question.
Yeah.
I don't think it is because you can leave.
Right.
I think
A cult is a little bit more harsh than the Amish, I would think,
I think so too.
because a lot of cults they kill you if you try to leave.
Right.
And
Or
they don't do that to the Amish.
Yeah. And
But
they may kill your relationships. Right?
yeah.
But
So there was actually an Amish guy that he started a cult.
really,
Yeah, his wife. She got sick and died. He was mad at God for it. There's actually a book about it. I'm not sure what the title is anymore, but I'll give it to you sometime.
okay.
There was a guy that was in the cult. He wrote the book,
Hmm.
and this Amish guy. This was in Shipshewana area,
Oh wow. Okay.
and this Amish guy he started a cult of he was getting people in that he could hear God, and that they gotta sell all their houses, and there were people in churches these were all Amish people, and there were some Amish people like their church they couldn't have bicycles,
Hmm.
so he would make them buy bicycles even though it was against the church just standards or whatever, and all that, and he made them paint their houses green.
No way.
That's what God told him to do. And he told them that they're going to go up to heaven in a yellow school bus. And it's just a lot of...
He was whacked out.
He was really whacked out. He's
Wow.
actually still in prison.
Really?
His name is Wilbur Aish.
Wilbur Aish.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look him
Yeah,
up.
just probably Google him. He'll probably find some stuff.
I'm sure there's something on YouTube I could probably
Yeah.
watch, or who knows what.
Yeah, and he actually towards the end of his reign, kind of, he was found putting Bibles in trash, throwing Bibles away.
Wow.
So yeah, he was really misleading. So the reason why he started the cult was he wanted to mislead Amish people because he was mad at God
Wow.
for
Taking his wife.
yeah.
Wow. And he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Took a
He
number of people.
misled a lot of Amish people. A lot of them came back though.
Yeah.
There's actually it's my brother's sister, or not my brother's. My brother's wife. Her dad was
part
actually,
of that.
yeah.
No way.
When he was a little kid.
Wow. Yeah. That's wild. Well, I mean, there's stuff like that around here all the time.
Yeah.
There's cults. I know a cult that's here, and there's the Glory Barn. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. There's just interesting things in this area that
Right.
it's like, man, people get caught up.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But Amish are so massive.
Yeah.
So I just wondered if you thought it was a cult or not. But
Yeah, I honestly, I can't really tell you.
yeah,
Because I'm not sure myself. Because I think that often, like,
you're still detangling it.
there's a lot of stuff that makes it a cult, and then there's also some freedom in it. There's some freedom, but not a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's fascinating. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on and
Yeah, absolutely,
talking for a couple of. Let me just like ask you this question, ask you that question, and
not a problem. I love being on here.
yeah, this is kind of cool. Where, if people want to reach out to you or get a hold of you, do you have places that like? Sometimes people are like, hey, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
Yeah, just
if
search.
you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Just search my name on or Facebook.
Okay, I'll add you, and then I'll link it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I'll link that, and then
You can put my Instagram in there too. So.
breaking. Okay,
Yeah,
So
breaking the silence.
breaking the silence. I'll put a link there, so if people want to watch any of those,
Yeah, absolutely.
go
I would
there.
definitely recommend watching those.
Gives you an
If you
idea.
wanna, if there are like people on here that they don't really know much about the Amish, they would
Start there.
after watching those videos, you'll know a lot more.
Wow. Yeah, just really.
You'll know more about the Amish than the Amish did themselves. Because I learned stuff on there that I was never taught.
Wow.
Yeah.
You would think you'd want the history of, but
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know all that stuff,
That's
and it's some stuff like they just don't want you to know.
right.
And I don't blame my parents for any of this because that is how they were raised.
Yeah. That's
Like
what our fathers did. That's what-
Because that's like my dad was really strict. Like he beat me off, like not beat me, but he would spank me really hard.
Yeah.
And like it's just that's how his dad did. So that's the only way he knew.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's my job to break that cycle.
Yeah. Which you are.
Yeah, I am.
Oh man, and that's a tough job.
It
You're a
really-
pioneer.
yeah.
You're literally a pioneer.
Because there's still like times where I just like I kind of there were like people. So from when I was a little kid, I knew I did not want to be like my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there were people like I can't. Just recently, they were saying that I cannot think that I don't want to act like him. I just want to do different than him. Like
Yeah.
my dad did this and this and this. I don't want to do that.
Right.
Or like I can't focus on the things that my dad did wrong. I only focus on the things that my dad did good, and he did a lot of good things.
Yeah. Take those.
I can definitely
Take those
appreciate
things.
for all the things that he did.
Yeah. Because it's not edifying to sit there
Yeah,
and stew.
absolutely. Because he really served his family a lot.
Yeah. And you got an even better dad too.
Yeah,
God's the takes all of the things. You can enjoy your dad for the things that you have that he did give you, but there's gonna be so many things that God's gonna just show you.
absolutely.
Yeah, you need to talk to my dad. I think
Yeah.
you would have a good connection because he came from a non-Christian home.
Oh, really?
He's a Christian, and so he's been a pioneer. And I've had a lot of fruit from that, and so it'd be interesting to have you guys connect because I think that would,
Yeah, absolutely.
there's that because he realized that at one point in his life he's like, man, I'm doing exactly what my dad did, and I need to break that a little
Right.
bit, And God will give you awareness of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
When in those situations, like, oh, that's what my dad did. And it doesn't mean you have to like totally crush yourself,
Right.
but there's like, oh, the Holy Spirit's saying, hey, I'm poking at this.
Yeah.
And you can definitely
you don't want to do that.
yeah, you can remix it into something
Yeah,
better.
Absolutely.
Dude, I think God's gonna do big things through you, bro. So that's been cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what all God's gonna do through me, but I just know that He's got me.
Yeah. There's peace there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's such a good verse. Proverbs 3,
Verse 5 and 6.
5, and 6. That's so good. Yeah, those little plays were fun.
Yeah,
I like
and I did not memorize that verse at all. Like that, just God just put it on my heart, and
Yeah.
I know it ever since now.
and just yeah, good word.
Yeah,
Brother, thank you for coming on, man.
yeah absolutely not.
Appreciate it. So, all right, I'll play us out.
right.
Peace, guys.
Peace.